Hello, everyone. This is Dawn Moret, and today is November 4th, and I am still sick. Day number 4 with this really intense cold, and I'm also I'm feeling shy today, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. Well, we've done it before. I'm going to read to you. I'm gonna read to you. Um, so real quick before I get into this, I just want to say that, okay, there's a lot of people that have their claim on America. Um, in my personal opinion, America is not a country of Christians or a country of Jews or a country of Islam or a country of whatever. America is really, in its authenticity, a country of witches and warlocks and pagans and soap makers and shoemakers and common people. That's what America is. And the sooner we can get back to that, the better. So, today is going to be a little bit of witchcraft, also known as bitchcraft. And let's get into it. So, this video is going to be how and when to lie. Lying can be something that is necessary at times. So, this is a chapter on how and when to lie. It has often been stated, the truth hurts. If the truth were known to people concerning the whys and wherefores of their own actions, very few situations would be entered into. The wile and guile of the proficient witch will never be resented, because she knows how to pet, flatter, and build up her quarry. You can tell anyone anything, and he will accept it, so long as enough flattery accompanies it. Even though what you say may be preposterous, if you can compel a man's sexual interest, he will go along with whatever you say. The only thing holding people back from doing things they would like to do is the lack of an excuse. See, that's why I have an amazing Tantra teacher, because that way I don't need an excuse. But anyway, yeah. Let me say that again, though. This is very key. The only thing holding people back from doing what they would like to do is the lack of an excuse. The reason that white witchcraft is so appealing to people is because it gives them an excuse to practice the black arts by calling them white. If a man wants to look at prostitutes and shady characters, yet maintain his respectability, he can be a sociologist. Yeah, I can. My father actually was a sociologist, and he actually loved prostitutes. So I can testify to the truth to that statement. If he likes to hear lurid, sordid, or spicy stories, he can be a priest, a psychiatrist, or a guidance counselor. Yeah, seriously, be wary of these people. They could be in it for their own prurient interest, which basically means that they're bored and they want to hear your dirt. I mean, it's just truth. It's always good to be aware of your surroundings, especially if someone has some sort of religious collar on. Anyway, okay. If he likes to look at dead bodies, a mortician or embalmer, women's vaginas, a gynecologist, women's feet, a shoe salesman. If he likes to eat, he can be a chef. If he wants to wield power over others, he will practice hypnotism. I'm sure you can supply many other examples. This doesn't mean that everyone enters a profession or trade simply to legitimize their fascinations and compulsions. There are many who do, however, and for these, socially acceptable outlets allow them to indulge their passions. You, as a witch, must know how to allow others to do what it is that they really want to do. Let me say that again. You, as a witch, must know how to allow others to do what they really want to do. You don't have to make most people do what you want of them. Just find a way of making it fit into their natural interests, then supply a rationale. Innumerable accounts have been related about ministers who consorted with women of loose morals in order to save them and as many jokes tell of the clever, holy substitutions in nomenclature in order to justify sexual acts. To many persons, hypnosis is an outlet for erotic gratification, in that it allows the subject to engage in acts that would normally be repressed. One of the most common fallacies about hypnosis is that the subject will not engage in any act that they would not normally do. If a girl with sex on her mind goes to a fairly desirable hypnotist for her nail biting, and the hypnotist regresses her, causing her to become convinced she is in a previous incarnation, she will gladly and without guilt sexually submit to the hypnotist, even though she may be married at the time. The hypnotist merely needs to place her in a period in history where she wouldn't be married to her present husband, and everything will be okay. All she needed was an excuse to which she could attach significance. Of course, she will never be able to question a belief in reincarnation, no matter how logical the argument against it might seem. To do so would place her conscience in jeopardy, so objectivity is out of the question. And we do that to ourselves all the time. In order to truly be objective, we have to sort of own reality. We have to own our motivations, and just be real. Just be real about it. Okay. I have seen many examples of sexual feelings being interpreted as other phenomena. For example, when a pattern has been established of religious fervor, accompanied by strong sexual feeling, the believer can never allow herself, for this phenomena is most prevalent in females, to recognize such feelings for what they really are. So long as she is experiencing joy or suffering, agony or ecstasy, on a religious level, the orgasms can come by the dozen. But just let anyone place her in a position where she will need to reinterpret her experiences, and you're in trouble. And that's where all the brainwashing, all the BS belief systems come in. It's really important that we're able to be honest with ourselves. Oh, I need to get better, you guys. Okay. Don't ever take away a convenient falsehood. If you remove certain conventional lies, you will be hated for it. Most people need lies. Ugh. This is one of the most important reasons why you, as a witch, must learn to lie when it is expected of you. The consistency of your image depends upon it. So long as you know the truth, that's all that matters. There are two kinds of lies. The first is the lie that people want to hear. If you have ascertained that your query expects to hear certain things, you must tell him what he wants to hear, no matter how far-fetched or unable you are to back up what you say. You will encounter the need for this type of lie regularly in fetish finding, which is something we'll go into another time, and in your public relations as a witch. The second type of lie is the one that will gain you credit and recognition, whether others want to hear it or not. This is the kind of lie you must be careful with. This is the sort of lie that causes failure to almost everyone who practices it. And I don't practice these. I mean, very rarely. This is the type of idle boasting that places your foot firmly into your mouth and causes no one to take you seriously after they get to know you. This is what I definitely want to avoid. Remember, a smart witch may not be taken seriously at first, but later will be viewed with seriousness. The failure might convince his audience of his depth in the beginning, but soon he's exposed as a fool when his false front disappears. And just how is this phony facade exposed in such a devastating manner? Because he never mastered the fine art of lying. In order to master the art of lying, you must first master a few other things. The great impostor, Fred Damara, will always command a certain degree of respect, because he could actually do the things for which he claimed legitimate standing. There is nothing wrong with saying you sang at Carnegie Hall, and you could have stood in the doorway at midnight and hummed a few measures. But if you open your mouth to sing at the next party and it sounds rotten, you have just, as they say, blown it. If, however, you have sung the lead in your local civic light opera production of Naughty Marietta, and you were acclaimed as an exceptionally talented singer, and you happen to be at an affair where your query will be suitably impressed and possibly arrange for you to go on tour with an important new show, a type 2 lie is in order. Tell him you have sung wherever you'd like, before crowned heads, etc., because when he asks you to sing, if you could back your contrived pedigree up with action, those very lies you told will not be questioned and will pay off. If you hadn't told them, he might never have asked to listen to you. If it is subsequently discovered that you made up the whole story, that you are fulfilling your role as a singer, the people who count won't care one bit about your little sham. The only ones who get up in arms, demand your removal, yet secretly gloat over your exposure, will be those who are your inferiors in the first place. Study, hard work, perseverance, and conscientiousness should be rewarded, and if you have gone out of your way to excel at something, use it as a credibility device. Don't tell lies about your achievements until you can produce, if the tools are placed into your hands. Don't tell people about the movie contract you passed up if your appearance is less than stunning, without expecting a few questioning glances. If you're an absolute knockout and say the same thing, people might not believe you, but at least they'll think, well, if she hasn't been spotted by a director, she sure ought to be. If you proclaim yourself a great enchantress and then proceed to tell everyone in the room all your problems, you're no witch. If you sit down to advise another woman about her domestic situation and have gone through a succession of 4 bum marriages, could you really expect anyone to attach much validity to your advice? Would you be fool enough to counsel a friend on child raising if your 3 children had been living with their grandma for all but 1 year of their lives? Self-aggrandizing lies must always be consistent with your actual abilities. Don't employ them unless you can back them up with action. If you want to lie, you'll get more than enough practice on individuals who demand that you lie to them in order that their own interpretations, delusions, preconceptions, and moralisms will not be offended. In this way, you will be able to lie with a light heart, knowing you are being kind to others and giving them opportunities to do things and think things that they crave. It is the only humane thing to do. Lie and give pleasure. Lie and soothe consciences. Lie and supply the food for the ego that truth can seldom provide. Lie and become a hero, for whatever lies are popular will always win votes. Lie, but be not yourself deluded by your lies, lest you lose control. For he who loses control over his own motivations can never progress to a proficiency in sorcery. Alright, so that is chapter on how and when to lie. I love this book so much. One of my all-time favorites. And I actually have probably like 30 or 40 like really, really, really favorite books. And I'll probably end up doing a lot of reading videos because I really enjoy it. And it's just, snippets of my absolute favorite material. So anyway, alright, love you, my witches and warlocks. Have a great night. And like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe and leave me comments down below. This has been Dawn Moret. Thank you.